All right, so they want us to know when this is increasing. So even with zero work here, I know that this is going to have something to do with the first derivative, and my answers are going to come when the first derivative is positive. So that is my hint that I'm going to need to take the first derivative. So you could either rewrite this, do power rule and chain rule, or you can do quotient rule if you'd rather. Whichever one you think is easier. But I would say that would be the first derivative. To know where it's increasing, we need to test around critical numbers. And critical numbers can be when the first derivative is 0, or undefined. And I could take the square root here, add 9, take the square root. What numbers make the denominator 0? Good. So I wanted to make sure that you got both of those and not just one of them. When you take this square root of both sides, you need plus or minus. That's why it's plus or minus 3. So like on that FRQ we were just talking about, notice how I'm labeling, not just throwing these on the number line. I'm saying I think these are critical numbers. And that's helpful because what if you can't finish this question, like you get stuck on it on a test, and you have to come back to it. It's nice if you have some of this labeled so you remember what your thought process. But we can test and see what's going on at 1, whether he's increasing or decreasing. So plugging 1 into the first derivative, notice the denominator is always positive because it's squared, but plugging in 1 makes the numerator negative. Negative over positive is negative, so decreasing. Maybe test and see what's going on at x equals 4. We would have negative over positive, which would be negative. Maybe test at negative 1. That would be positive over positive, which is positive. And it could be changing directions here because this is a critical number. So we've got one more to test, maybe negative 4. That would be a positive over a positive, which would be positive. Okay, now I don't know if this is why you asked this question, but this is good for everybody to, unless you are sure what I'm about to say, why the final answer is what it is, this is an important topic here. When is this increasing? Do you see how it looks like it's increasing this whole time? From negative infinity to 0? Does that make sense? That's not the answer though. It's not increasing from negative infinity to 0. It's increasing from negative infinity to negative 3. At negative 3, the derivative's not positive, it's 0. It's horizontal for a moment. So you can't say that it's increasing at negative 3. Then it increases from negative 3 to 0. But it's not increasing at negative 3, so it should not be part of your interval. Is that why you asked that question? Yeah. That's a good one to ask because that's very easy to overlook. Looks like it's going up the whole time, but it's really not going up at x equals negative 3, so it shouldn't be part of your increasing interval.